recording. So this is a special Ramanavami quarantine session, and I prepared some quotes so we can go through and see what comes up. If anyone has anything he would like to speak, particularly like from Prabhupada's teachings about Lord Ramachandra, or just to share a realization, you're welcome to do that. Okay, so the first quote that I picked to, maybe I can share the screen actually, and you can read it with me, or it's not necessary. It's not necessary. So yeah, to kind of set the mood to this exchange of what is Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman about? What is the purpose? I found this very nice quote about the purpose of Lord Ramachandra's appearance, in terms of not just his appearance, but his appearance in relationship to Krishna and Lord Chaitanya, and what's the difference, and how they play the part in each other's lila, in a sense. And Prabhupada, he really sheds light about it here. So it's from Montreal. Who has been here in Montreal? I actually found Krishna in Montreal. I think Malini, Devi too, right? Hare Krishna. Maybe Cyril is here. I'm not sure. Maybe he's going to join later. But this is a class from a letter, actually. No, it's a letter to Satsvaru when he was in Montreal, or when Prabhupada was in Montreal, 1968, 16th of June. The point is that Krishna appeared as the full-fledged personality of Godhead, but Ramachandra appeared as an ideal king. Therefore, the Leela of Ramachandra, principles of morality and ethics, as they are to be followed by ideal king and ruler, was followed. In the same sense, he banished Sita in order to prove himself as an ideal king who wanted to make his subjects always happy. The whole program was on the basis of an ideal king. But in the case of Lord Krishna, he played as full, independent, supreme personality of Godhead. Apparently, therefore, he transgressed so many moral and ethical principles. This cooperative studies on the life of Krishna and Ramachandra is very intricate, but the basic principle is that Ramachandra appeared as an ideal king and Krishna appeared as the supreme personality of Godhead. Although there is no difference between the two, although there is no difference between the two. A similar example is Lord Chaitanya. He appeared as a devotee and not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he is Krishna himself, so we should accept the Lord's mood in a particular appearance, and we should worship him in that mood. So, I mean, some of us especially, we have probably some viewers from India too, and all around the world. So many people heard already about Narayan. I want to say Narayan. About Lord Ramachandra. And we can briefly we already touched, right? In the morning we spoke about more or less the scene. Here Govinda Prabhu, he helped us to set up the scene and the background for how Lord Ramachandra appeared, the names of his brothers, his mother, his father, what was going on there in terms of the like chronological order of events. And someone might ask, right, why would you even touch like different aspects of the personality of God and why he appears? And like for me, this quote's kind of is a nice instance to speak about how the purpose is like an exemplary way to show an example in many different forms and formats. And it's sometimes not necessarily a direct example, like Krishna, he sets the scene in a bit different way. He shows how God, he is not obliged to follow any rules and regulations. And then Lord Ramachandra, he's quite the opposite. He's very rigid about his rules, about his regulations, and so on and so on. And yeah, it's something that I find interesting.
I find that was a very illuminating quote. Thanks for sharing it. To me, just like just like, but I find Prabhupada so clear there about like the purpose, the motivation, the reason for Krishna's appearance as Krishna and Krishna's appearance for various expansions for Lord Ramachandra specifically, but just like Prabhupada's statement there in that letter, it just that's for these other expansions, there's a particular purpose, and so we understand and relate to those incarnations in the context of that purpose. So that was very illuminating. Thanks for sharing it. Hare Krishna.
Oh, we have a chat here on Zoom. Who wrote about? Okay, recording. Yeah, we are recording. Yes. So,
could I read something from the 9th canto about Lord Ramchandra?
Yes, please, Atmananda Prabhu.
Some of you may well have heard this or read this morning or other times. This is the 9th canto Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th chapter, which is entitled The Pastimes of Lord Ramchandra. And the first verse that has a purport is verse number 2. So I'll just read the translation and the purport. Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth himself, directly appeared with his expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in 4 forms as the son of Maharaj Dasharatha. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Lord Ramachandra and his brothers, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna, are all Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into many, many forms, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. Although they are one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms in incarnations. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 439, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan. And as an aside, in 1975, Prabhupada gave a lecture on this day, on this particular Brahma Samhita verse. He talked almost none. He spoke almost nothing about Lord Ramachandra's direct pastimes, but he talked about the incarnations and so many connected aspects. He continues in the purport. The Lord is situated in many forms, such as Rama, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. And these forms may exist in any part of his creation. All these forms exist permanently. It's not just when they come to this planet or any other planet that they're existent, but they exist permanently, eternally, as individual personalities of Godhead, plural. And they resemble many candles, all equally powerful. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna, who, being Vishnu Tattva, are all equally powerful. Are all equally powerful. Became the sons of Maharaj Dasharatha in response to prayers by the demigods. End of purport.
Yeah, thank you for that, Atmananda Prabhu. Yeah, I think Dhira Govinda, we read across the Bhagavatam in the morning, and he spotted this this sentence that you brought up too, that the incarnations are permanently there, permanently visible or something.
Like eternally situated in many forms. The language is very precise, amazing. Hare Krishna.
I kind of feel blacked out. I don't know why, but okay. I remember how I wanted to connect actually the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra to what we all are going now is the aspect of the exile. I think maybe everyone can relate to that. How we are sort of isolated, or not like exiled into isolation in our own home, our own circumstance. Like for me and Keith, we just happen to to still in exile, really in somewhere like completely different. Like some of you in YouTube ask me where are we streaming from. Oops. We are in Florida. Alachua, Florida, Alachua County. And yeah, for me especially, it's sort of like an exile. Well, I don't really know where I'm situated in the last 3 years either way, but it is sort of, I think, connected to how Lord Ramachandra, he just decided to go to the forest all of a sudden. Like he didn't it's not that he decided, but his father, Maharaj Dasarat, he asked him, and as a obedient and loving son, he honored his father's request, and he didn't even protest. I think you can see that in Ramayana and in the animation movie that you posted on Facebook. That's my favorite animation movie. Actually, I watched it like already 20 times. Okay, Atmananda mentions it's from the 9th canto, 10th chapter, 2nd verse. If anyone of you on YouTube would like to read and reflect on that more. And okay, next quote. I'm gonna be the next one.
Yeah.
And okay, this is from the 5th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. I think actually Yashodanandan Prabhu, he sent me that, so I just stole it from him. Thank you, Yashoda. He's participating without his knowledge, knowing that. And goes as follows. The translation of the verse is, therefore, whether one is a demigod or a demon, a man or a creature other than man, such as a beast or a bird, everyone should worship Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears on this earth just like a human being. There is no need of great austerities or penances to worship the Lord, for he accepts even a small service offered by his devotee. Thus he is satisfied, and as soon as he is satisfied, the devotee is successful. Indeed, Lord Sri Ramachandra brought all the devotees of Ayodhya back home, back to Godhead. Report by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Sri Ramachandra is so kind and merciful to his devotees that he is very easily satisfied by little service rendered by anyone, human or not. That's a really cool, I think, part of this purport. Anyone, if you have a cat or a dog at home, let him serve Lord Ramachandra with some service. He will be satisfied. This is the special advantage of worshiping Lord Ramachandra. I think in that movie, actually, he's depicted as having like a little squirrel on his back. I always found it so adorable. And there is the same advantage in worshiping Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra, in the matter of Kshatriya, sometimes show the mercy by killing asuras. But Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu awarded love of God without difficulty even to the asuras. All the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but especially Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and later Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered many of the living entities present before them. Indeed, almost all of them. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is therefore represented in the 6-armed form of Sadbhuj Murti, which is a combination of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The best purpose of human life can be fulfilled by worshipping the Sadbhuj Murti, the form of the Lord with 6 arms, 2 arms of Lord Ramachandra, 2 arms of Krishna, and 2 arms of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Enjoy. Hari Hari.
Srila Prabhupada consistently brings it back to our Sankirtan movement. Just noting that purport from the 5th canto. And so many places, whatever the topic, Srila Prabhupada brings it back to really the, I mean, sometimes he'll describe Lord Chaitanya as an incarnation, but sometimes he'll emphasize, he's not an incarnation, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahayani. He is Krishna and Radha combined. And then that's Krishna who in the form of appearing in our parampara, and particularly that's planting the seed to spread Sankirtan to places like Alachua, Florida, and New Zealand and Europe and Dubai and Tel Aviv.
Saudi Arabia too.
Saudi Arabia.
Your viewers from Saudi Arabia. Albuquerque, North Carolina.
Albuquerque.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhupada, for making everything so practically relevant.
So, yeah, that was a quote that Yashodananda donated to us. If any one of you have quotes too, don't hesitate to share. Share it if you love it, like they say, right? Hare Krishna. Okay, I found actually this. I was trying to find which chanting, which chant, like specific chanting mantras for Lord Ramachandra that Prabhupada would give to devotees.
Yeah.
And I found a letter that Prabhupada mentions the chant that they had. That Gandhi, I think he used the chant for his political thing, but Prabhupada liked it, and he said, you can chant that.
Yeah. It's a nice letter.
Gandhi was a great state.
You just give what's the date of the...
Oh, okay, it's 13th of February 1969 from Los Angeles to Krishnadas. Gandhi was a great statesman in the garb of a saintly person, so that the Indian population would blindly follow him. But his motive was political, and we are therefore not very interested with it. However, you can sing the first two lines, Raghupati Raghava Rajaram Patita Pavana Sitaram. I hope this will meet you in a very good health. Oh, Prabhupada, I think Prabhupada knows what we're going through here. Yeah, it's a fact. Prabhupada, he acknowledged this many times, how Gandhi, he, on the plea of being a spiritual person, he actually was a politician carrying the Bhagavad Gita everywhere, although he was actually not even believing that the Bhagavad Gita is something that factually happened. And on the other side, he was a politician that was dressed in spiritual dress, and vice versa.
And Prabhupada would acknowledge with appreciation that, like, in his last breath, Gandhi was saying Ram Rajya.
Oh, right.
Now, maybe he was saying it with political motivation, but still, Prabhupada would emphasize that, yeah, like maybe he went to heavenly planets. There's some...
I think so.
He was absorbed in Ram, maybe not in the Bhagavatam mood, but still there's something very pious and auspicious there.
I like to how Prabhupada acknowledges the Indian sentiment that that's like what they needed at the time, at least, or maybe still now. But you can see that like all the Indian currencies, they all have Gandhi on them. I never seen any currency that has one single person on every single bill. It's like it's kind of interesting. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, George. How are you there?
Hare Krishna. Danielle has a quote at some point.
Please, do it now.
Okay, so it was not specifically about Ramachandra, but he spoke this on the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra in 1974, and it appealed to me, so I thought I would read about it.
Please, we would love to hear.
So Prabhupada is giving a talk, and he says, so on this auspicious day of appearance day of Lord Ramachandra, we are taking this opportunity of foundation of the cornerstone of our temple in this Bombay center. And it is very kind of Mrs. Nair, A.B. Nair, that she has given us this chance along with her husband. So far we are concerned, we are preachers. We are preaching all over the world. We don't require any palatial building or very comfortable apartment. And I really liked this excerpt. It goes on, and it had, some of his talk beforehand. But that excerpt really touched me, because there's so many of us right now that are confined in uncomfortable spaces or places around the world that we didn't anticipate ourselves being. And I think it really speaks to the fact that it doesn't change our mission. And even though we have these temples and, beautiful places to preach Krishna consciousness, it's not necessary to have that. Anywhere we are, Krishna is with us, and we can sincerely take that mission of his forward without any limitations and being in a physical place. So there's no need to lament about being stuck wherever we are. We're still with Krishna, and we still have our mandate from Prabhupada.
Yeah, I hear how you're appreciating the circumstance you're put in, because you can practice Krishna consciousness, right? So it makes it as good as anywhere else you would be practicing Krishna consciousness.
I appreciate that letter that Danielle read in the context. So it was, from what I heard, that Danielle read, that was at the laying the foundation, the cornerstone for the Bombay Juhu temple with Mrs. Nair. So for those who are familiar with Prabhupada's pastimes, there was quite a transcendental drama around that for several years. And that just, I mean, it seems like it's no accident that Prabhupada chose this. It's a very Kshatriya day, the appearance day of Lord Ramachandra. And Prabhupada, maybe more than any other of Prabhupada's pastimes, he needed to show lion-like, fierce Kshatriya spirit to come to the point of laying that cornerstone. We won't go into the whole thing about Juhu and Mr. Nair. Ultimately, anyhow, it seems that the incarnation of Nrsingadev intervened in that with Mr. Nair. So Prabhupada clearly co-created with Lord Ramachandra to start the building of the temple on this appearance day, which maybe I'd heard before, but it's landing for me. But yeah, I mean, in that pastime, maybe more than any other, Prabhupada needed to show this fierce warrior like Kshatriya spirit, really for years and years.
Yeah. That Vaishnava is not a coward. Yeah, I think that's actually the next quote that I was about to read. Wow, what a coincidence. Is it? Yeah, it is. Hare Krishna, people are not coward. It's not you, Daniel, who intervened. It's Krishna. Krishna is arranging all of that. Okay, so it's from a Bhagavad Gita lecture in London, 1973, July 11th. Somebody was criticizing me that, Swamiji, you are introducing this Hare Krishna movement. People are becoming coward. They simply chant Hare Krishna. So I replied that you will see the power of the Hare Krishna movement in due course of time. He required, because there are two battles in India. The battle between Ravan and Ram, and Ravan, the battle of Ramayan, and another battle was the battle of Kurukshetra. Yes, thank you, dear. Kurukshetra. And in these two battles, the hero was Vaishnav and Vishnu. In the Rama-Ravan battle, Lord Ramachandra was there, and his devotee Hanuman Vrajarangi. Similarly, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna was there, and his devotee Arjun was there. A little quiz here to our audience, both on YouTube and on Zoom. How did Hanuman appear on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Anyone remembers?
He was on the flag of Arjun's chariot.
Exactly.
And also is helping Bhima yell.
Yes, I think it's on the cover.
It must have been quite the experience.
It's on the cover of the original Bhagavad Gita. Yes. This picture is not anywhere else but this particular version, and you can see the Hanuman flag. Let me see if you can see it.
Where's the Hanuman flag?
Right here.
I see. There we go.
Yeah.
Thanks for pointing that out. Wonderful.
You can see Hanumanji is there on Arjuna's flag. So if you want to have this cover, you You have to get this beautiful edition. Hare Krishna. Hey, Meket, nice to see you. Haribol. Okay, let's go back to the quote. So Vaishnavas, they don't simply chant Hare Krishna. What? I thought that's all we do, Prabhu. If there is a need, they can fight under the guidance of Vishnu and become victorious. A Vaishnava's one qualification is out of 26 qualifications, one qualification is Daksha, expert. If there is a need of fighting, they can fight like very expert. That is also needed. Krishna consciousness does not mean one-sided. Krishna as all-pervading, the Krishna consciousness movement also should be all-pervading. It's like a highlight for me there, you can quote. Because it's not really about the fighting, right? It's like about becoming an expert in whatever we do. It should touch everything, even politics, sociology, everything. It required. That is the aim, because Krishna's mission is Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirvarati bharata parityanam sadhunam vinasaya chaduskritam. Yeah, so Prabhupada mentions these two quotes from the Bhagavad Gita, where the mission of the incarnations are described, how Krishna comes for two purposes. He comes to establish his devotees and get rid of the demons, the Ravans and the Ravanas and the Tarashtras, Kurus, like that. And again, I'm blacked out now. I don't know what I'm blacked out. But yeah, we should be able to touch everything. I remember just few weeks ago, before the advanced Sattva Tov advanced course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the link in the description. Nalini Kante actually visited us, and he narrated how he got into politics and how he got out and in, and Balavanta, I think, right? He was running to be a mayor of Atlanta, which is just 6 hours drive up north. Maybe someone here from Atlanta, Georgia. So yeah,
In God We Trust political party.
God We Trust. Yeah, Prabhupada established the In God We Trust political party. Also, Amarendra ran for mayor of Gainesville, Florida. Yeah, In God We Trust. Prabhupada approved that for a brief period of time. Then he said, "Okay, enough of that."
I think he said that too much money goes there, right?
Yeah. Just get back to heaven.
But yeah, it's a nice example, really, how we're not coward in the sense of, it's an obstacle, that there's so many obstacles, and if we coward, we might miss an opportunity to please Krishna in so many different varieties. Yes.
I like the stress on fighting, in a sense, being strong, not cowardly. And Prabhupada says, I'm not sure where it is, Prabhupada says, taking to Krishna consciousness means declaring war on the material energy. Declaring war. There's another nice quote from Prabhupada from his message of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, there's a quote, whoever daily fights the battle of life only for Lord Krishna's sake discovers prosperity, mystic perfection, and transcendental knowledge in the palm of his hand. So I like that one. That's almost repeating or encapsulating the verse in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Sanjaya says, wherever there's Krishna, Yogeshwara, there will be all these opulences, victory, success, beauty, all these things.
Yeah, that was like the conclusion, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes. And in this same Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 10th chapter, Prabhupada talks about the omnipotence of Lord Ramchandra. Sometimes Prabhupada focuses on the oneness of the Supreme. Like said, we read before, all the incarnations are equally powerful. And other times he focuses on the difference, the abheda, beta, abheda. And here in this purport, he talks about the omnipotence. I'm not sure where it is, but Prabhupada somewhere describes how each incarnation manifests a certain potency of the Lord. And this is one of the potency. I can read that now if you like. This is the 11th verse, the same chapter, 9, 10, 11, and the purport. One feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is omnipotence. The Lord can act without regard to material impediments or inconveniences, but to prove that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and was not merely advertised as Godhead or elected by popular vote, he constructed a wonderful bridge over the ocean. And you may know the pastimes of the ocean came to the Lord after not surrendering to him, and Lord Ramachandra glancing over the ocean, that ocean, the Samudra, and every single creature, including the sharks and whatever, even the whatever, they were stunned with fear just by that glance. So the Samudra ocean came and surrendered at that time to Lord Ramachandra, saying, "We were foolish or covered up. We didn't realize who you were. Please accept our obeisances, our apologies. Now, please, to establish yourself, build a bridge over me." And that's where the idea came, to build this weightless bridge to prove your transcendence. And Prabhupada goes on in that vein. Nowadays, it has become fashionable to create some artificial God who performs no uncommon activities. A little magic will bewilder a foolish person into selecting an artificial God because he does not understand how powerful God is. Lord Ramachandra, however, constructed a bridge over the water with stone by making the stone float. This is proof of God's uncommonly wonderful power. Why should someone be accepted as God without displaying extraordinary potency, by doing something never to be done by any common man? We accept Lord Ramachandra as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he constructed this bridge. And we accept Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he lifted Govardhan Hill when he was only 7 years old. We should not accept any rascal as God or an incarnation of God, for God displays special features in his various activities. End quote.
Yeah, Ramachandra got angry there in the ocean. I like it. So much angry that the ocean came personally. It's like, I think what attracts me to like Krishna consciousness a lot is like this personal, that behind everything there is some personal future that is just like in a dormant state for the impersonalist, but for us it's so accessible because of this Shabda Brahman, because of Prabhupada's descriptions and narrations. That's, I think, one of the things in many like cartoons and movies, which I don't know if they're lazy to depict it, but it's never depicted how, like the ocean, for example, is a person. Like the ocean came to Lord Ram, like in Jadavani's or someone else's picture there. Yeah, it's so intimate and captivating.
Is the Varuna as the ocean? Who is the
Varuna? No, Varuna is like a different demigod.
Well, Varuna is usually depicted as the god of water, the god of the ocean.
So that was Varuna?
Well, I mean, we can look in Ram pastimes to see, because these things are complex. But generally, like it's Varuna who took Nanda Maharaj into the sea. Yeah. So Varuna is the demigod in charge of waters and oceans. So it seems to, I don't have a direct quote, but it seems to be, it would be Varuna who opposed Lord Ramachandra. And that happens sometimes, just like Mother Earth, Bhumi, she opposed Maharaj Prithu, and he got really angry. So I just said it's very personal. Oh, they're devotees, so they're all aligned, but like there's personal interaction, and there's just like different perspectives on purpose, and sometimes there's emotional tension. So it would seem to me that it was Varuna in that pastime with Lord Ramachandra bridging the ocean and getting angry at the ocean. It seems that it would be Varuna.
Thank you for that.
It's not the names that used though, dear Govinda, this morning when we read. I don't know exactly the name. It's Maruta or something like that. It's not used Varuna as a name. It's a different name.
The name used there is Samudra,
Oh, Samudra. That's what it is.
but
Yeah.
I don't know what the connection is.
Yeah. I was wondering also why it's not like it's a different person, like Patrick was saying. Yeah.
Samudra, yeah, we need to see, is Samudra another name for Varuna? Or maybe Varuna was on vacation for that yuga. And, well, I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm joking, but I'm not. Because, for example, like Yamaraj was on vacation.
Oh, right.
And he took vacation as Vidura, and I'm forgetting the name, but an assistant of Yamaraj, he became the demigod in charge of death and that planetary system. And there's other examples. If we read closely, sometimes demigods were usually associated with this function. They take a break, and some other demigod does it. So maybe Samudra and Varuna are the same person, but maybe not.
Maybe Samudra is a servant of Varuna.
Hey, Stefan.
Yes, or it's a different name.
Thanks for that, Stefan. That could be. That would be very interesting research.
In that example of Yamaraj you gave, dear Govinda, Yamaraj was actually exiled. He was also put in quarantine, so to speak. He was cursed.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly a vacation. You're correct.
No,
You're correct.
he was happy about it, but it was a benediction, a cursed benediction, I think.
Yeah, and related, I mean, I consider this the realm of permissible speculation related to Stefan's suggestion, like perhaps Varuna is god of the oceans generally, but maybe for each of the major oceans, there's some assistant that kind of is in charge of that department, something like that. Fascinating.
I just entered into this call. Can you guys give me like a 5-second rundown of everything that's happened? I just got off a call.
Rama.
Okay.
Rajharam.
So we here in Alachua, if some of you did not, and we're discussing Lord Ramachandra's appearance day in different quotes. The last quote dealt, I think, with before the quote Atmananda mentioned, we spoke about how a Vaishnav is not a coward, and one of the exemplary incidents is Ramayana, obviously, and the second one is Kurukshetra.
And we kind of said a third one is Prabhupada at Juhu Beach.
Oh, right. And Prabhupada's fighting for Juhu, for Bombay. Maybe we have viewers from Bombay here on YouTube. Yeah, it was indeed interesting. I think that's this famous saying from there is that everyone will go back home, back to Godhead, but Mr. Nair will have to stay.
Yeah. The Prabhupada has such a humorous, profound letter. Just following up on what Ramachandra shared, something to the effect of, because someone's writing to him, maybe with some factional, sectarian things, some disciples writing, but no, Siddha Swarup will go back to Godhead, and Shama Sundar, and Brahmananda, and Hayagriva, everyone will go back to Godhead. Well, everyone will go back to Godhead, except for Mr. Nair, he needs to stay here.
Yeah, it's because it is actually the plan, right? The plan of material existence is to ultimately take us back home, back to Godhead, but some will go faster, some will go slower, but Mr. Nair will have to stay. Yeah, it's the not partial nature of both devotee and Krishna. The Krishna is not like indifferent, really. He's different. He has his creative, just like he has his creative skill in nature, he has his creative choice to help someone, or he helps everyone, but some. Like,
what I'm saying is that Krishna is impartial. Yeah. He's not indifferent. Mm. He's impartial. He's impartial. He's an equal opportunity employer. Mm-hmm. Meaning Krishna is partial to the devotees.
Yeah.
And everyone, all living entities, have equal opportunity to choose devotional service. Just like analogously, at least in theory, in principle, the government is impartial.
Mhm.
You can say, no, look, it treats some it gives them scholarships to go to the university, and some it's putting in the maximum security prison with barbed wire. So but the government's impartial. Everyone has the opportunity to live their life, to enter the university, or to be a respected member of the Chamber of Commerce, or to commit a crime and be in prison. And so in that sense, the government's impartial. So Krishna's, everyone has that equal opportunity to become very dear to Krishna by choosing devotional service.
Yeah, there's this, I think my favorite verse in the last year became this verse about this, by how Krishna is impartial or partial. I'm getting confused with the terms, but anyways, Krishna says, I envy no one is like really a friend to me or whatever, but if someone renders service unto me, he's a friend, he's in me, and is like dear to me, something like that. So it's very intimate.
Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dvesha stina priya.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. I love that story about Prabhupada just mentioning one particular name of an individual who won't go back to Godhead quite yet. And did he ever say that about anyone else, or just a particular instance where he wanted to call someone out? That's a question.
Well, my opinion is sort of that, I mean, even Mr. Nair, one day he will go, but it would take him much longer than anyone else.
Yeah, so this Mr. Nair, he was just greedily, viciously trying to cheat the devotees and cheat Prabhupada. And it's not like about a false ego thing, but Prabhupada knew that it was his service to get that plot of land, which is now the Juhu Beach ISKCON land, and it's a wonderful project. And so he was cheating Prabhupada out of money and this and that, and he got the police, and he was really quite cruel, vicious, and corrupt towards the devotees. And Prabhupada tried all the diplomacy and conversation and communication. And it went through just one battle after the other. And Prabhupada was advised by his advisors, give it up. This is throwing good money after bad. Give it up, whatever. Take the loss and move on. But Prabhupada knew his mission. And there was just one, and then finally it really looked like Mr. Nair was going to win. And he was going to just finally win after like 4 years of hellish battle. And Prabhupada was taking it to the courts, and he was just fighting. And Nair is this like multi-billionaire, like he had so much more resources. So Mr. Nair was about to win. And Prabhupada said, no, we're gone for this. And Mr. Nair had a heart attack and died.
Haribo! I think it wasn't just a heart attack. The blood burst from all the holes of his body. It was like a complete attack of Prabhupada. I think he said Nrsinga death, right?
Yeah. So then all of the power went to Mrs. Nair.
Oh, it's not it.
All the power went to Mrs. Nair. And in the letter you read, Mrs. Nair was there. So then Mrs. Nair had a meeting with Prabhupada. And it reminds us a lot. This morning we read chapter 10 of the 9th canto. And after Ravana was killed by Ram, his wives, headed by Mandodari, they were crying, but they knew he was a vicious rascal. And they said that the name Ravana means one who causes crying for others. So they knew. So Mrs. Nair, at first she was like going to be the tough businesswoman, but she was with Prabhupada, and then she just broke down in tears. She just broke down in tears, and then her natural devotion to Krishna came out through Prabhupada's association, and that's that brought closure. There is one other situation I can think of where Prabhupada made a comment practically as heavy or heavier. There's one other situation I can think of, and it wasn't to do with real estate dealings. Yeah, there's a situation where someone who was a disciple of Prabhupada, a disciple of Prabhupada who became like a Sanskrit scholar, and at one point he asked Prabhupada for his blessings to accept a different guru,
to find a bona fide spiritual master,
something like that. And that's not in all cases, but in many cases, those who became Sanskrit scholars, they decided at one point they actually understood Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita better than Prabhupada, and their spiritual life just collapsed pretty quickly. There's a few instances. So in this one, he thought, yes, Prabhupada, I'm going to look for, yeah. So Prabhupada, out of complete mercy, he responded, this might be a slight paraphrase, but he says, I give you my blessings to never go back to Godhead. Prabhupada wanted to give him every chance to wake up to what he was doing.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, he blessed him not to find, like, because he asked him for a bona fide spiritual master, and then he blessed him not to find one in the next 1,000 births.
That I haven't seen.
And then the disciple, it's really similar to, I think, Mukunda Datta
and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
And because Prabhupada actually he said that, because the devotees, they were shocked, like, oh my God, Prabhupada, you're so harsh. And Prabhupada, he was like, what? I'm harsh? He was, for this aparad, he was supposed to not to have a bona fide spiritual master for 10 million births. And he minimized that. So Prabhupada is so patita, just like we chant about Ram and Sitaram, patita pavana means merciful, the most merciful. So Prabhupada is the servant of the servant of the servant of the most merciful. And even the punishment is like an elevation in a sense. I mean, if you tell me I found a bona fide spiritual master, but that I would take advantage of a bona fide spiritual master in 1,000 births, it's like, jai. The light, I can see the light at least.
So that was the theme, yeah. Vaishnava's not a coward. Krishna consciousness is not for those who want to escape the hard realities of life and run away and hide under the covers. Right? So Prabhupada, in so many instances, he fought tirelessly, and so much in the spirit of Lord Ramachandra. So sure, a Vaishnav is gentle as a rose and harder than a thunderbolt, according to the service. Ready to be softer than a rose and harder than a thunderbolt. And Prabhupada shows that intermingling of qualities in such divine, perfect ways.
Yeah, it's so harsh to say what someone's curse is or to call out the reality, but then it's just like giving feedback. You know how when you receive feedback, when I receive feedback, there's a bit of pain, and then it's like, thank you for calling me out. Like I want to actually be out of illusion. So it's, yeah, Prabhupada, it's just a whole other level though. What he's speaking about. And yeah, it's like, it actually just seems loving to call out someone who's being demonic.
Yeah, just like Lord Chaitanya, he is merciful to the demons too. In fact, there's a letter to Hansadutta where Prabhupada mentions it's a fact that there's a sinister movement within our society. Look, sinister movement to me sounds like a group of demons that taking over the society, and Prabhupada, he's not running away anywhere. He's right there to deal with them and encourage others to do the same.
Yeah, there's a purport Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada says there are jealous persons who are servants of Kali within this movement.
Oh, right.
It relates to part of our discussion this morning about Prabhupada's statement on November 10th, 1977. Prabhupada's putting him in the putting himself in the metaphorical role of Maricha and Maricha, and saying, yes, Ram will kill or Ravana will kill. Better to be killed by Ram. So Prabhupada, yeah, he was not sentimental. He's encouraging, giving everyone guidance. And I was reading, because I'm reading the Chasing Rhinos with the Swami in volume 2. And volume 2 is a lot about in India. And Shyamasundar in his writing, because he's right with Prabhupada for maybe like a year and a half, something like that. And he's seeing Prabhupada being so heavy with some disciples. And he said, and Shyamasundar, from his own description, he made some pretty big mistakes. And Prabhupada would always be like, okay, all right, yeah, okay, Krishna's arrangement. And Shyamasundar said, if Prabhupada was heavy with me like he was with some of the others, I would just leave. I would just leave. And Prabhupada knew that. He knew I was just too sensitive and delicate. So just Prabhupada knew exactly what everyone needed to help them on their path back to God. Shyamasundar was saying, he said, some of his disciples have been through like trauma in Vietnam and just they've been through so many things. And like Prabhupada just needed to be like that. And he goes, with me, I'm just like this delicate, emotional person. So he was always so gentle with me like that. And so, and Prabhupada knew there were Ravanas, not just out there in politics. Prabhupada knew there were Ravanas. That's why he made the statement. That's why he made the statement. Ram will kill or Ravana will kill. Better to be killed. In other words, if I go, maybe I'll be killed by Ram.
Yes.
If I stay, I'm definitely committing suicide by staying with Ravana.
That's actually sorry.
Go on, I'm complete.
Yeah. That's actually the last quote, but we're not there yet.
Okay.
Be patient, because we're going to read it. Okay. And I actually found the next quote about this parikram scene from the 12th, November 12th, where Prabhupada explains what kind of parikram he actually would like to do. And if you're excited, so do I. And we're going to get into.
Do you want to explain what? Not everyone might know what parikram is.
Oh yeah. Prabhupada in that quote here, Govinda mentioned parikram. Prabhupada desired to go around Vrindavan or Govardhan Hill, which basically I don't know in Sanskrit how it's. Maybe someone knows in Sanskrit directly how it's translated, but from my understanding is just walking around the holy place and completing a circumambulation.
A circumambulation of the holy place.
Yes. So in fact, Prabhupada wanted to do a much larger circumambulation than going around just Vrindavan. Okay, so next quote is about Cold War and Ramayana. Cold War.
Well, I'd like to bring
Yes.
up something that's kind of connected, though. The same, well, two things. Just same. Shruti Kirti used to say that too. That Prabhupada would yell at somebody else and then send them to see to bring Shruti Kirti in, and they think that he was so mad at him. And then when Shruti Kirti would come in, Prabhupada would be like, "Oh, everything is fine, you know." Yeah, you'd be shaken. So he said the same thing, that he would have crushed him, you know. But and then also I like this pastime where they're going down the road in Britain or something like that, and you know he would speak harshly about the Malechas and people and stuff like that, and then also you hear people speak quite harshly about your average person out there, and then I really liked that. And then he was speaking quite heavy about them, and then next thing you know, they looked over at him and he was crying, and he said they were agreeing with him. Yeah, they're gonna go to hell, the rascals. You know, they're low life, and then they looked over and they saw him crying. You know, so he said they're gonna go to hell. And he actually felt compassion.
Such a soft-hearted, compassionate emotion.
Yeah.
He was truly caring. He wasn't just trying to criticize.
Yeah.
Well, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice to see how even when he was smashing people and talking down about them, what his heart was behind it, even that, you know. Yeah.
Thanks for that. So this is November 12th, you're about to read. This must be one of the last words that Prabhupada uttered in his manifest pastime.
I would say it's one of the last metaphors that Prabhupada uses in a sense. And my name was given to me because of that pastime. My godbrother, he was very connected to that pastime of Prabhupada mentions Maricha. So I'm very honored to carry that name with me as Ramachandra Das. But there are some quotes after. If anyone is tired, you can skip there maybe after this quote or the next. So this is about the Cold War. Let's see if it's here relates. At the present moment, the godless civilization, as soon as there is a declaration of war, the America is prepared to drop an atom bomb. Russia is the first nation who will drop the atom bomb. Interesting. Some predictions. He will be victorious. Nobody will be victorious because both of them are ready to drop. The America will be finished and Russia will be finished. That is the position. So so you may make advancement of civilization, scientific improvement, economic development, but if it is godless, at any moment it will be finished. At any moment. I mean, we can sort of feel that with this current team, everything is finished.
Tulsi was quoting somebody from the U.S. government saying we can take Russia, China, and Iran at the same time. We got 5 times more missiles than they do. She was quoting somebody from the government. I can't remember who, but she was the one running for president.
Okay.
Yeah, that's saying how insane that is, that they possibly think that somebody would come out on top in a nuclear war.
That's what I was surprised, because I got the impression from her that she's really anti war, and she wants to be peaceful.
Centerpiece of her movement, of her candidacy.
Just like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, they were demons, godless demons. Ravan was very learned scholar in Vedic knowledge and very powerful materially. He converted his capital, converted his capital with gold. All the buildings and everything is supposed, all the buildings and everything. Sounds like Dubai. Who is here from Dubai? It is supposed that Ravan's brother was a king of on the other side of the globe. So it is my suggestion. I don't say it is very scientific proof. So other side of the globe, Ravan was in Ceylon, and the other side of the globe, if you go back, you go by subway, it comes to Brazil. Anyone from Brazil here? I think Narayan, he's close enough.
Yes.
And Brazil is supposed to have golden mines. Actually, I heard that there's a city in Brazil called Hanuman. Yeah, it's quite interesting. And Brazil is supposed to have golden mines. And it is said that in the Ramayana, that Ravan's brother was living in the other side of the globe, and Ramachandra was taking through the subway. So taking this into consideration, we can suppose that Ravan imported large quantities of gold from Brazil, and he converted them into big, big houses. So Ravan was so powerful that he made his capital Svarana Lanka, capital made of gold. Just like if a man comes from undeveloped country to your country, New York, or any city, when they see big, big skyscrapers, they become astonished. Although skyscraper buildings are everywhere nowadays, formerly it was very wonderful. So we can create everything very wonderful, but we can take the example of Ravan. Ravan was very advanced materially, and he had Vedic knowledge sufficiently. He was son of a Brahmana. Everything was there, but the only fault was that he did not care for Ram. That is the only fault. Oh, what is Ram? I do not care for him. There is no need of performing yagyas and ritualistic ceremony to be promoted to the heavenly kingdom. Ravan said. I shall construct a staircase to go to the moon planet. Why you are trying in this way or that way? I will do that. Svargasari. So these people are trying like Ravan, but they should take the lesson from Ravan that his godless made him doomed. Godlessness made him doomed. Everything, he lost everything. This is a lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1973, Los Angeles, December 1st. I guess Prabhupada gives like a reference to the moon landing, supposedly moon landing, one of the Hare Krishna controversial statements. Oh, thank you. First name, last name for the comment. I'm going to read it right after. How Prabhupada was very doubtful of that. I think the first place he mentions that is an easy journey to other planets. 1958, way before the issue was even there. Like I think they went with the Sputnik to the moon or whatever.
In space.
But Prabhupada, from the very beginning of that title heading, he immediately pointed out that according to the Vedic astronomy and cosmology, the moon is further and bigger, actually, larger than the sun. So how are you going to get there with a little missile or Sputnik? I like how Prabhupada uses sometimes that word.
Sputnik. Yeah.
Sputnik.
I like that word, Sputnik.
Hare Krishna. So who is here for the moon landing is being fake? Okay, it's a different topic. Next, there is a quote. Unless anyone else has some quotes you would like to read. If not,
I have a pastime.
Please.
There was a servant of Lord Ramachandra who came and delivered these nice prasadam balls, ladus, and nice prasadam to the devotees. And they were enlightened and blissful and purified.
I guess that was your the ladus.
What's that?
The ladus were your favorite? Because you cannot take the sweet fries, right? I remember.
Yeah. Ladus. Yeah, I've been neglected with sweets, so.
Too bad, because that's one of the first time I made sweet rice properly, actually, like a night before, and like it was in the fridge for a long time.
I'm going to say it wasn't a servant of Ramachandra, it was a servant of Hanuman, the servant of Ramachandra. Yes.
It's Hanuman.
I agree. This is in the next edition of Ramayan. This will be in there. Assisted by Bhakta Keith in the kitchen preparing, and then did a parikram of Alachua, Florida, and distributed prasad in this time of quarantine. It'll be in the next edition of Ramayan, I'm sure.
Can you come to Gainesville, please?
And dear Govinda, you took the role of the charioteer.
Chariot driver. Yes.
Yes.
Fearless chariot driver. Yeah. Jai.
Glad to be of service.
The ones of you on YouTube who have no idea what we're talking about, can hit the notification bell, and the video about it is going to come next week. So, Hare Krishna. So glad you like the prasadam, Prabhu. It touches my heart. That's like the most favorite part for me in festivals, is to make nice prasadam for the devotees. And I couldn't bear that this festival too, I won't be able to do it. I mean, last festival was especially transcendental because we were in the Sattva advanced course, and it was ecstatic. Dhira Govinda came from the temple room and broke the distance, and was just chanting and dancing with everyone. But we couldn't cook, and I mean Ananta Ras, she cooked, but there was no sweets.
He's still lamenting. I'm lamenting too, but
Ram. Okay, so let's go to some. This is a story actually that Patrick mentioned in the morning about the Brahman. I mean, he briefly touched it.
Yeah.
So I put it there already before, and we can mention it again. It's the story about the Brahman and Lord Ramachandra. In the book known as Adhyatma Ramayana, there is a statement. There are statements.
Is this a letter from Prabhupada?
No, this is from Madhya Lila 9th
chapter. It's a purport.
Yeah, it's a purport. Yeah. There are statements in chapters 12 to 15 about worshipping deities of Sri Ramachandra and Sita. There it is stated that during Lord Ramachandra's time, there was a Brahmana who took a vow to fast until he saw Lord Ramachandra. Who is fasting for Lord Ramachandra appearance day still? Anyone? No? Yeah, Narayan, Eze, Malini, Atmananda. Hare Krishna. Nice. Together. And here Govinda Prabhu here too. Is there.
Broke my fast just for this video with the laddu.
Laddu for the sadhu. There's a funny joke about Ramayana and the sadhu, which maybe if we'll have time, we're going to mention after. So stick around.
Madhya Lila.
Madhya Lila. Yeah, I'm trying to find where we're at. Okay, fast until he saw Lord Ramachandra. Sometimes, due to business, Lord Ramachandra was absent from his capital for a full week and could not be seen by the citizens during that time. Because of his vow, the Brahmana could not take even a drop of water during that week. Later, for a whole week, no water. So much.
That would kill most people.
Yeah. Later, after 8 or 9 days, when the Brahmana could see Lord Ramachandra personally, he would break his fast. Upon observing the Brahmana's rigid vow, Lord Ramachandra ordered his younger brother Lakshman to deliver a pair of Sitaram deities to the Brahmana. The Brahmana received the deities from Shri Lakshmanji and worshipped them faithfully as long as he lived. At the time of his death, he delivered the deities to Shri Hanumanji, who for many years hung them around his neck and served them with all devotion. After many years, when Hanumanji departed on the hill known as Gandhamandana, he delivered the deities to Bhimasena, one of the Pandavas, and Bhimasena brought them to his palace, where he kept them very carefully. The last king of the Pandavas, Kshema Kanta, worshipped the deities in the place. Later, the same deities were kept in the custody of the kings of Orissa, known as Gajapatis. One of the acharyas, known as Narahari Tirtha, who was in the disciplic succession of Madhvacharya, received the deities from the king of Orissa. It may be noted that these particular deities of Ram and Sita have been worshipped from the time of King Ikshvaku. Indeed, they were worshipped by the royal princes even before the appearance of Lord Ramachandra.
Goes back millions of years.
Like 3 million years.
Yeah.
If it's the same even incarnation, maybe like 1,000 times more. Who knows? Lord Ramachandra, before Lord Ramachandra's presence, the deities were worshipped by Lakshman. It is said, so the deities they were there before Ramachandra appeared. Okay. Wow. It is said that just 3 months before his disappearance, Sri Madhavacharya received these deities and installed them in the Udupati temple. Since the deities have been worshipped by the Madhavacharya Sampradaya at that monastery, since then the deities were worshipped at the monastery. As far as the Sri Vaishnavas are concerned, beginning with Ramanujacharya, they also worship deities of Sitaram. Sitaram deities are also being worshipped in Tirupati and other places. From the Sri Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, there is another branch known as Ramanandi or Ramat. And the followers of that branch also worship deities of Sitaram very rigidly. The Ramanuja Sampradaya Vaishnavas prefer the worship of Ramachandra to that of Radha Krishna. So, yeah, we spoke about it in the morning, how the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya are more keen of worshiping Radha Krishna. And most of our names, except mine, and I feel bad for it. That's like the only time where I'm lamenting that my name is Ramchandra Das, because it's like, it's not Krishna Lila, like, where am I going after? But yeah, there's plenty of that everywhere. So it's
What's the name of that temple where Madhvacharya installed those original deities?
Udupi?
Udupi, yes.
Udupi, yes, that's in South India, not far from Mangalore. We went there to see Udupi Krishna, but
wow. So, yes, they go back to Treta Yuga, when I think deity worship, formally, officially it started in Dvapara Yuga, but it was always there as a process of self-realization. Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna. That was a wonderful purport. Perfect purport for Ram's appearance day. Hare Krishna.
Can I share something?
You have to.
Okay, that's from a class, Shri Prabhupada, on Lord Ramachandra Appearance Day. And I like it because he speaks about governments, and I think he gives a lot of information to the world about government. So Prabhupada says, so these are ideal history how Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra appeared on this world to educate or to place ideal example of a king, how the king should be. Therefore, when there is a good government, the example is given, Ram Rajya. It is the kingdom of Lord Ram, because everyone was happy, everyone. There are so many instances in the life of Ramachandra. One Brahmana, not Brahmana exactly, somehow somebody came to Ramachandra because at that time there was no court like this, that you have to go to a court and apply with a stamp fee. Then your judgment will be delivered after 6 years. It is not like that. Anyone who has got some complaint issued, the king used to sit in open audience, and the citizens were allowed to approach the king and place their complaints, because there was no complaints practically. Everyone was happy, very minor complaint. So somebody came to Ramachandra and he charged Ramachandra, my dear king, my son has died. How is that? In the presence of his father, son can die? There must be something wrong in your government. Just see. The charge is, why my son has died before my death. This is unnatural. So there was nothing unnatural that we get from history of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is stated. So the king were so much responsible. They were always thinking of the happiness of the citizen, and the citizen were also so nice. One citizen approached Lord Ramachandra and his next assistant, his brother Lakshman, informing that he is a Brahman. You were absent on your tour for, I think for a fortnight or a month, and this Brahmana has not eaten even a drop of the water during your absence. So that's what you were sharing. But about the government, is like, it's such a great example, and Shri Prabhupada pointed out here that the government and Lord Ram and this kind of Ram Raj is like only caring about the welfare of the citizen, to a point that everybody was happy and someone was approaching the king because his son died. That show how trustful people were of their government. That's it.
Hare Krishna, I will read something whenever, or unless, I don't know, I think sometimes people speak or say purports or things like that. Okay, and any comments on what Malini read?
Yes, I had one. A little more recently, a very famous personality known as King Solomon, that system of going to the authority, to the king, with a complaint or a ruling or a conflict, was immediately dealt with. You didn't have to wait 6 months, as Prabhupada said, not even 6 days. It was done, resolved, dealt with immediately. And Ramachandra gave that example. There's another purport from the Bhagavatam, same 9th canto, 10th chapter, but maybe that's what you're going to read, about the same point about government. So we could share that now, unless you want to go ahead, Narayan, because yours may be in the same vein, or even the same.
Yeah. Yes, so it's somewhat connected. I don't think it's maybe the exact verse that you're sharing. Okay, so I'll start with the translation. Lord Ramachandra became king during Tetra Yuga, but because of his good government, the age was like Satya Yuga. Everyone was religious and completely happy. Among the 4 yugas, Satya, Tetra, Dvapara, and Kali, the Kali Yuga is the worst, but if the process of Varnashram Dharma is introduced, even in this age of Kali, the situation of Satya Yuga can be invoked. The Hare Krishna movement or Krishna consciousness movement is meant for this purpose. Kalar doshani de rajan nasti yeko mahanguna kirtanareva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajit. My dear king, although Kali Yuga is full of faults, there is still one good quality about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. If people take to this Sankirtan movement of chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, they will certainly be freed from the contamination of Kali Yuga, and the people of this age will be happy as people were in Satya Yuga, the golden age. Anyone, anywhere can easily take to this Hare Krishna movement. One need only chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, observe the rules and regulations, and stay free from the contamination of sinful life. Even if one is sinful and cannot give up sinful life immediately, this speaks to me, if he chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with devotion and faith, he will certainly be freed from all sinful activities, and his life will be successful. This is the blessing of Lord Ramachandra, who has appeared in this age of Kali as Lord Gaurashundara. And then a couple of verses later, something similar. When Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was the king of this world, all bodily and mental suffering, disease, old age, bereavement, lamentation, distress, fear, and fatigue were completely absent. There was even no death for those who did not want it.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
No death, birth, and old age, eh?
Yes.
Thank you, Easy. So encouraging, because many times when I read like some of the purports in this ninth canto, chapter 10, Prabhupada talks about the standard of good government, Ram Raj, and he compares them to the atheistic, materialistic politicians today who have no obedience to Lord Ram, to any supreme, except themselves. And I find it's easy, maybe others as well, to become discouraged that it's hopeless now. But these purports, Prabhupada stresses, makes it very clear that by following and spreading the Sankirtan movement strictly, and such a yuga, he says, can be evoked. So of course I don't mean to say we should be attached to having such a yuga here and stay here and enjoy like that. But it would be nice, and it would be anyway. That's what one point I wanted to share. That the purport I was going to read goes along with what you were reading, Malini, about Ram Raj and how good government can exist in principle. But someone else may want to share.
Would you like to share the purport, Prabhu, Atmananda?
Yes, but maybe someone else would like to take a turn.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much for that, Easy. I'll go ahead.
Please.
Yeah, this is from the purport of the 50th verse of this same 9th canto, 10th chapter. Quote, people are very fond of the pattern of Ram Raj, the kingdom of Lord Ram. And even today, politicians sometimes form a party called Ram Raj. But unfortunately, they have no obedience to Lord Ram. It is sometimes said that people want the kingdom of God without God. Such an aspiration, however, is never to be fulfilled. Good government can exist when the relationship between the citizens and the government is like that exemplified by Lord Ramachandra and his citizens. Lord Ramachandra ruled his kingdom exactly as a father takes care of his children. And the citizens, being obliged to the good government of Lord Ramachandra, accepted the Lord as their father. End quote. So the whole state was like extended family in that situation. We can maybe imagine how that could be. And Prabhupada saying, from what you were reading, Easy, that it's possible. depends on me, us, those who want to follow Prabhupada very seriously.
Yeah.
Hare
Yeah, it's like one of these famous statements about Prabhupada that he made a temple a house where everyone, all the world can live based on this principle.
Live peacefully.
Peacefully based on love and trust. I think there was a part with Aniruddha when they took a flight from Hawaii, and that was like in the early 70s, and Prabhupada was a bit transcendently lamenting about what was going on in the movement, and he told Aniruddha, well, now the family times are over, now we have to crack down with the whip. Then he started the GBC, but before that, pretty much the family feeling was very integrated in the aspect of the movement. Okay, next quote about demigods and demigods don't demigods don't do any good to you. It's from the 4th canto. It's about Shiva. I have some experience with Lord Shiva. A few weeks ago, I did something that relates to him in Sattva-Tov. It was ecstatic. Thank you, Eze, for facilitating that. It was a lot of fun. That's, I think, the thing I miss the most from the quarantine, that we cannot wrestle. But I don't know, maybe Keith will wrestle me after. Because there's not enough sweet rice for Keith. Just kidding.
That's a wrestleable offense.
I'll have to give him my sweet rice. Yeah. Lord Shiva's advice and take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Anyways, it was something I think I started since. The so-called devotees of Lord Shiva, who are simply after material prosperity, are in a way deceived by Lord Shiva. He does not actually deceive them, because Lord Shiva has no business deceiving people. But because the so-called devotees of Lord Shiva want to be deceived, Lord Shiva, who is very easily pleased, allows them all kind of material benedictions. These benedictions might ironically result in the destruction of the so-called devotees. For instance, Ravana took all material benedictions from Lord Shiva, but the result was that he was ultimately destroyed with his family, kingdom, and everything else, because he misused Lord Shiva's benediction. I think like one after the other, Ravana's warriors were just like slain, up to from the youngest to Kumbha and Nikumba.
Kumbhakarna to his own son Indrajit.
Yeah, he even had to like awake Kumbha prematurely from his sleeping austerity. I know some of us like to call it like that, but he did that. He slept for like 12, for half of his lifetime or something like that.
Long time.
And Prabhupada makes this joke, like people that sleep 12 hours a day, they're like Kumbhakarna, because they sleep. If you sleep 12 hours a day, you sleep half of your life. Yeah, it was funny. For instance, Ravana took all material benedictions from Lord Shiva, but the result was that he was ultimately destroyed with it. Okay, I read it. Because of his material power, he became very proud and puffed up, so that he dared kidnap the wife of Lord Ramachandra. In this way, he was ruined. To get material benedictions from Lord Shiva is not difficult, but actually these are not benedictions. And I remember or maybe some of you remember what Lord Shiva actually told Ravan when he tried to approach him to participate in the battle, right? With Ram and all of that. Lord Shiva, he said that, I'm not going to participate because it's Ramachandra. Like, either if Ramachandra decides to kill you, no one can. That's like the Bengali, I think, parallel is saying. If Lord Ram wants to kill you, no one can save you, and if Lord Ram wants to save you, no one can kill you.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Hari Bol.
What was the story of Lord Shiva gave a benediction to a demon that if he were to touch anyone, that they would die? Was that it? The benediction that Lord Shiva gave to this demon, and then he went and saw Narayan, and
yes,
Narayan said, "Yeah, can you talk about that story a little bit?"
Yeah, well, that's a similar reference. I thought Prabhupada gonna mention that, but he spoke about Ravan here. That's why I put the quote here.
Case is referring to
Rikasura.
That's the Krishna book.
Yeah, and Rikasura, he got a benediction that anyone who he would touch his head will explode or crack.
That's
And
a benediction from
Lord Shiva, yes. And the first person who he wanted to try it out was Lord Shiva.
Yep.
So that's disturbed by his own so-called benediction. So yeah, that's one of the examples as such.
And ultimately, Krishna they tricked Rikasura in Krishna's form in Vamanade. He was a beautiful Brahmin boy, and it's quite humorous. Of course, the demon's head exploded in pieces. So Rikasura was chasing Lord Shiva around the universe. Lord Shiva was like, "Oh my God, I created this monster here, and he's after me." But also then Vamanade was there. And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? You're chasing Lord Shiva." It's quite a Krishna book. I've also seen some videos, some children's puppet shows of it back when my children were small, 25 years ago. But so Vamanade kind of says like, "Look, Lord Shiva, he's kind of useless. You know, Lord Shiva gave you this power. You know, it's like a joke." Are we okay there?
Mm-hmm.
He said that's like a joke. Lord Shiva has no power. He's just incompetent. He's useless. And so they engage in conversation. And ultimately, Vamanadeva convinced him, "No, you don't have any power. It's not. You're not gonna. You know, like you just like touch your own head. You'll see." And then the demon touches his own head and exploded into a million pieces. So Krishna, in the form of Vamanadeva, saved Lord Shiva.
Maybe he was even making fun of Lord Shiva. I don't remember.
There's some joking
Shiva,
past in there.
who believes his benedictions?
Yeah, you can't trust this guy.
Jai, thank you, Chase, for
Thanks for that.
bringing it up.
One of many pastimes that illustrate demigods are powerful, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, etc., but they're all serving at the pleasure of Govinda. Govinda Madi Bhusham. Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. So what do we have?
Hare Krishna. This morning, I mentioned the story from Lord Chaitanya's pastimes from the Madhya Lila that the Brahmin who was lamenting about the Ravan touching Sita, and then Lord Chaitanya dispelled his worries. And I thought that would be too long to read here because I wanted to, so I did a Facebook live video on the Bhakti Yoga discussion group where I read that pastime.
Jai. Lord Chaitanya in South India. Amazing pastimes.
Yeah, he went for a long trip there.
A long padayatra.
Yes. Just like Balaram and maybe Prabhupada. Who knows? Let's see what the next quote is about. Well, this one has no title. Oh, because that's the last quote. Oh, it is. Okay. So this is the quote about the parikram that we mentioned a few times already throughout the day. So it's from November 10th, 1977.
November 12th or November 10th?
10th.
November 10th.
So Agadish, he speaks there.
Who's that?
Agadish.
Jagadish?
Oh, Jagadish. Yeah,
Jagadish.
I forgot the J. Agadish. So Jagadish, he speaks as follows. Srila Prabhupada, can you tell us why you want to go on a parikram? Bhakti Charu speaks Bengali to Prabhupada. And then Tamal Krishna, he says, this seems like a suicide. Srila Prabhupada, this program, it seems to be, it seems to some of us like it's suicidal. Prabhupada. Actually, I have the recording of that, so maybe to have some variety, we can listen to that. And yeah, anyone is up to that, or should I just read the transcript? We can listen to that. I have it ready. Okay.
If it's clear, yes.
This seems like suicide, Srila Prabhupada. This program. It seems to some of us like it's suicidal. And this is also suicidal. Prabhupada said, and this is also suicidal. Yeah, it's suicide. And Ravan, we do, and how we do. But that to be seen right now. That money to, if it does not go, the Mishra Sita is a good right now. And if he goes, there is good right. And how,
Okay, and this is like interesting because as you can see on the transcript, it says, who is this Prabhupada talking about? But a devotee friend of ours, Brahmananda Prabhu, he refined this state, and it's very different. The ending is very different from what the transcript says. I'm not saying anything, but it just it sounds a bit weird here. I'm going to play you specifically that line that is replied by the disciple. So yeah, to me, what it sounds like is it seems like I've poisoned him, which is up to our own discretion what it really means. Maybe it's a different topic, but the transcript doesn't match. That's kind of my point. Yes. So yeah, Prabhupada wanted to go on a parikram, and his own disciples didn't allow him to do that. What was the purpose of the parikram? Was the Prabhupada, he was in, like we mentioned in the morning, he was in clear intention that that's what's going to heal him, that's what's going to recover him from his condition. And he speaks more about what is that parikram in the next, in 2 days after that, November 12th, which is, it's my birthday, not in 77, but anyways. Prabhupada, what is the time now? Now it is looking at 11:35. Prabhupada, you have got all in your charge. Lokanat, yes, I have. Prabhupada, Tamal, yes, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, consult with him. Tamal, make up a tour. All right, very good. Prabhupada, since a long time I have got a desire. Tamal Krishna. Prabhupada's Prabhupada's had this ambition for a long time. Lokanath, traveling the holy places. So you will be doing it? Tamal, that we can discuss. Jayadvaita, Lord Balaram, he did that. He went to all the holy places. So in the same way, you can get a little strength from Krishna and Balaram here in Vrindavan, then you can. Lord Balaram was going to all the different places. Prabhupada, I give you idea. Where is Lokanath? Lokanath, yes, I'm here. Prabhupada, what is it called? Front party, Tamal Krishna. What kind of party? Prabhupada, front party. Lokanath, front party, advanced party, yes. Prabhupada, they'll give us description of the land, and before our going, they'll make a camp, small, big, that doesn't matter. And in the morning, the former camp broken and go on the next camp with kirtan. In the meantime, the other camp is ready to receive you. Then the next camp, after taking prasadam, they'll go to the next camp. Tamal Krishna. Do you follow this, Lokanath? Do you have a question to ask? Lokanath. So there is a smaller group going in advance and bigger group with you staying back. Prabhupada, yes. So, I mean, I can continue reading, but...
It's very interesting because it shows that Prabhupada had an extensive plan for for him going on Parikram Padayatra, like it wasn't just like, let's go for 45 minutes and see Govardhan Hill or something.
Yeah, on the bullock cart or no, it was
Yeah, just like he would have extensive plans to establish a temple in Bombay, to establish New York, to print Bhagavad Gita. Like this was like a multi-year plan.
Yeah,
and
it took Balaram a whole year, right?
Yeah, it took Balaram. Very, very fascinating, very interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like a long conversation, but that's the main point. And that's thanks to Garga Muni Prabhu in Vrindavan. He shared this realization with me, and I just went and I found this conversation that kind of highlights Prabhupada's real intent to, like, Prabhupada was never like done. He was never done. He was always preaching. He was always vigorous. He was always on the front line, like in a Kshatriya devotional spirit.
There was never any sign of retirement.
Yeah, no such thing. Yeah. Like in the Vedic culture in general, there is no retirement. Retirement, what we take as retirement, actually, the beginning of like the real
getting really intensive.
Yes.
That's the purpose of life.
Yeah, Prabhupada comments, I think, in Hyde Park, how people like when they retire, when they, I don't know, 70, 80, whatever, they play checkers.
Shuffleboard.
Yeah.
Checkers.
And in the Vedic culture, that's actually when the fun begins. So yeah, I'm very thankful for the brahmachari times that I don't know I had or I'm having, to feel that, to sort of like spirit of like front, spelling in the front with my
a pioneer in the front line.
Yeah. Yeah, something that I'm sure
I'm getting your strong encouragement.
Sorry, Atmananda?
Officially, I'm past retirement age, so I'm getting your strong encouragement.
Oh, okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so that was the last quote that I sift. There was another compilation that I made and I sent to some of you because we touched that point in the morning about Sita's banished from the kingdom before even giving birth and all these wild things. And if anyone will be interested in that, I can send you that compilation. And yeah, I think it's about time to break the fast. Dusk is approaching. I think it's already here. And would anyone like to share his experience of Sri Ramachandra's appearance day, the impact on his life?
Just let you know that my kids have been watching the Ramachandra cartoon, and right now Indrajit and Lakshman are fighting in the air right now. So pretty soon Sita will be saved and Rama will be victorious very soon.
Jai Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that's the most beautiful tilak I've ever seen. I'm not joking.
Right?
Thank you so much for the prasadam and for the class. And I wanted you asked about today. Yeah, we here at the Bhakti Yoga retreat, we spent a lot of the day preparing a feast to offer to Srila Prabhupada and Ramachandra, and it was so blissful to be together in the spirit of serving and cooking for Ram and to please the devotees. And I'm just so grateful that Srila Prabhupada's given us this this opportunity to have such a simple, blissful way of living. And I was just thinking how like I could do this every day and not get bored and just be like so meditative and excited and curious state. And yeah, I'm feeling really grateful for that.
You look like a shining star.
To the audience, I want to show something that we all got a plate.
A little higher.
A plate of prasadam, and with our name on it, it says Hare Krishna Narayan, that's for Narayan, Happy Ramachandra. And then there is another one for Eze, like that. and then dal, and then sweet rice, and then ladus, and that's very magical because they just came to our door. That shows that there is. For me, I'm just thinking, this is God. There is a God.
I'll be waiting for some over here.
Yeah.
Me
After
too.
this whole phone call, I've been in the kitchen making prashadam.
Yeah. Hey, Chase.
It didn't say Happy Ramachandra. It said Happy Ramnavami.
Yes, thank you for that correction.
Right, that's true. Happy Ram Navami, yeah, that's what it is. It's so personal with everybody's name on it.
Yeah.
Just to show to the audience.
What is like then?
Thank you, Ramchandra, very much. And thank you all for your inspiring association.
What was your favorite, Prabhus? Who liked what the most?
Adu.
Sabji rice. We haven't eaten yet.
It's
We-
8:16.
It's time for us to go and honor Prashadam, respect Prashadam.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhus. Thank you for joining, participating. Thank you for the YouTube crowd. Satvatov Alachwa ki.
Bye. Hare Krishna.
Bye.
Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna.
Ram Ram.
Hari Hari.
Okay, one more.
What's happening?
Movies, Patrick.
I always admire your team. If you ever see me looking at you during the morning program, it's probably.
Sitaram, Kirtan Madhan.
Sitaram, Sitaram, Raghupati Raghava Raja. Sitaram, Sitaram, Raghupati Raghava Sitaram, Sitaram, Sitaram. Adita Pavana Sitaram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Thank you, everybody.
everybody. And Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Hari Bol. See you all next time. Hare Krishna. Thanks for joining. Rebecca, Patrick, Daniel, George. Who else is here? Stefan. Haribol. Ram Ram.
Haribol. Ram